Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
You know, look, man, the other guy's base is what I grew up in. You know, I'm basically your standard redneck.
Live from an undisclosed location.
Men and women all pledging allegiance to that same proud flag. That's the America I know, and there's only one candidate in this race who shares those beliefs and who's devoted her life to it.
You know, there's a little MLK there, just a little. Don't you think, Stephanie? I mean, there's something in that Bible cadence that's just overpowering. Great stuff.
Unchained and unstoppable.
Give me a break. He's never heard salty language before. You know, John McCain, who has probably the dirtiest mouth in all of the Senate, has never heard, you know, he talked about lewd. The first sign of a little bit of difficulty, he unendorses. I wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with a lot of these people, that I can tell you.
But McCain's a brave man.
Including Ryan.
He's a brave man, McCain.
By the way, including Ryan, especially Ryan.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Your vote really, really, really counts. A lot. You can consider me as an exhibit A of that truth.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Joining us now on the line, without further ado, is the governor of the great state of Maine, Paul LePage. Governor LePage, thank you so much for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show. Always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, Howie. Always a pleasure to hear your voice and listen to all the moonbats ranting and raving out there.
We got a lot to talk about here in this segment, Governor LePage. But first of all, I have a great gift I think I'm going to offer you right now. Would you like some tickets to the World Series at Fenway Park this year? I happen to have some tickets.
Yeah, and that's something.
Would you like that? I mean, I'm serious. I have these tickets. The games aren't going to take place, but I have the tickets, Governor LePage, and I'm going to give you a pair of tickets to all 4 of the games at Fenway Park. That's right. Games 1, 2, 6, and 7. I'm sending them to you. It's my gift to you. It's my congratulations for being named the best governor in the country by the Cato Institute today.
That was really neat. It was pretty cool. You know, with all the lambasting I've been taking from the media for this last 6 years, what they didn't figure out is I knew a little bit about economics.
Yeah. In case you haven't seen the story, Governor LePage has received the highest grade among all governors in a fiscal report just issued today by the Cato Institute, a national libertarian-leaning organization that advocates for smaller government. He was one of 5 governors, all Republicans, to receive an A grade, and his overall score of 75 was tops. So that's good. Congratulations. That's what counts, Governor LePage.
It was a good company. You know, there's some good company there. You know, Ducey in Arizona and North Carolina, Indiana. I mean, there's some great stuff, and it was a real pleasure, real pleasure.
I'm sure the Bangor Daily News and the Press Herald in Portland are getting ready to write you some congratulatory editorials in tomorrow's paper.
They'll spin it somewhere as being fiscally prudent is a bad thing.
I got to run this. I know Governor LePage, you're a Catholic, and so I want to get your reaction to these WikiLeaks that are going on. Hillary Clinton confidants mock evangelicals and conservative Catholics in Podesta emails. Oh, yeah. Did you see this? Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen it, but just the whole comment about deplorable and all that tells me enough. All I need to hear about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something. Hillary Clinton lied to Congress. She lied to Judge Sullivan. She lied to the American people about Benghazi. This lady lives a lie, and then the mainstream media just buys into the lies, and it's a shame. It's a shame. Now, A good friend of mine told me the other day, he says, the only perfect person I ever met, he was crucified by the government. So,
well, you know what? She didn't just lie to Congress or to the FBI. I mean, how about she lied to all of us on Sunday night when she said she wasn't in the government when Obama laid down the line about the red line in Syria? That was a lie. And the week before. The week before, she lied about I never said that the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, was the gold standard. And, 5 minutes after the debate ended, they were running the video on, at least on Fox.
I get it.
Remember that?
And, that. And she landed under fire when she was in the Middle East.
Being named after Sir Edmund Hillary, and now it's come out in the WikiLeaks a couple of days ago that she was lying about going down to the recruiting office for the Marines in Little Rock, and they turned her down because she was a woman. And she said now she's saying she was turned down because she was too old, and I'm not sure I believe that story either, Governor LePage.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's really hard to believe anything that comes out of their mouths, the both of them. Today I had a press conference, and I had my little nesting dolls from what I got in Russia. And my point to the press was, even in Russia, this is how our leaders are looked at. And I don't know if you've ever seen, I talked to you about it, but I have Bill Clinton and the nesting dolls.
I saw the tweet. I saw the tweet. That must have driven him crazy today when you had that doll. Tell the people about these dolls that you have.
Yeah, I was in Russia back in 2008, and some people that I met over there. I was over there as Mayor of Waterville, and we have a sister city named Cotlas, Russia, and so we were up in Russia, and one of the politicians there gave me that. This good friend of mine decided it would be nice if I had that to remember Bill Clinton by. So I brought it home. They're in my office. They're in display.
So you open the Bill Clinton doll, and out comes a Monica Lewinsky doll.
Right, and then after that is the flowers, and after that is another lady, and then the very last one's about an inch tall, and it's Hillary.
Well, listen, I got to bounce this off you today. This is what came out of the WikiLeaks today, and I know you've had your disputes with the diocese up in Maine, over some of the welfare cutbacks and that kind of stuff. But you are a Catholic, and so's everyone in your family. So this is what one of Hillary's aides wrote to another one of her aides. Many of the most powerful elements of the conservative movement are all Catholic, many converts from the Supreme Court and think tanks to the media and social groups. It's an amazing bastardization of the faith. They must be attracted. Oh my God. They must, amazing bastardization of the faith. It gets worse, Governor. They must be attracted to the systematic thought and severely backwards gender relations and must be totally unaware of Christian democracy. Imagine if Donald Trump had. Imagine if you said that about Muslims, Governor LePage.
Yeah, can you imagine? Let me tell you about Hillary. I have more compassion for the American people and the people of Maine in my little finger than that woman has had her entire life. She cannot tell the truth. And when I go out there and I work on welfare reform, I use education to help people understand and move themselves forward so they can gain self-respect and dignity. Hillary Clinton keeps them poor so that she can call them up and say, go vote for me next week. She has about as much caring for the poor people as I do about her.
So then this guy, John Halpin, wrote that, saying that Catholics have severely backwards gender relations, and her press spokesman, Jennifer Palmieri, says they become, people like Rupert Murdoch and some of his minions become Catholics because they think, quote, it's the most socially acceptable, politically conservative religion. Their rich friends wouldn't understand if they became evangelicals. So they don't like evangelicals. They don't like Catholics. They don't like Bernie Sanders people because they live in basements. They don't like Bernie Sanders because he's a Jew. They think that they're going to use his Jewish religion in West Virginia and Kentucky. Bill Clinton says he's a standard redneck. What do you think of that, by the way? Bill Clinton. Do you think Bill Clinton's a standard redneck, Governor LePage?
I would say out of touch with the rednecks. I don't think he knows what it is. His brother might have known a few rednecks, but I don't think they're.
No, he went to Georgetown and Yale Law School. Those are not two schools you would normally associate with a lot of rednecks. By the way, I have a friend who's listening to the show, Governor. He's from the DEA. I know he's retired from the DEA. Tell the governor I back him 100% with his statistics on the drug traffickers. That's Dan. Dan says that.
They can say what they want. I gave them the stats, and then they tried to change everything, and they changed the dialogue of what I said. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is I was right. I continue to be right, and I'm just not going to make a big bone about it. But if they think they know better, then they can start watching people die every day because there's nothing I can do about it. The mainstream media wants to rather attack me about trying to save lives than actually saving lives. So, hey, they're in charge. Let them figure it out.
What do you, Governor LePage, what do you say to all these people who are pretending to be so terribly offended by what Donald Trump said? I mean, not that was defensible what he said, but I mean, they say so much. They say so much more. I mean, what did you tell me your reaction to them going into high dudgeon?
I was appalled at people like Mitch McConnell, John McCain, Paul Ryan. I'm appalled. These guys play the game. They're into the arena. They know what's going on. They're a bunch of hypocrites. You want to know the truth. They're all a bunch of hypocrites. We all have skeletons in our closet. As I said earlier, the only person I know that was ever perfect was crucified by the government. And so the rest of us are mere mortals. I'm a mortal. I have a lot of faults. My wife will remind me every day. God love her. She's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. My children. I am not perfect. Don't claim to be perfect. But I will tell you this. This country was built on a First Amendment and the Second Amendment. And the First Amendment is almost an embarrassment now because the media has become so lopsided, so biased. And today I had a press conference and I told him I have zero respect for the media. Zero respect. I like them as individuals, but as their profession, I think that they're killing America.
Should Paul Ryan...
It's a death by 1,000 bats because they only report one side of the equation, and if they can go after somebody, they do. They love to kill with words. And so the politicians inside the Beltway, they've fallen for this, and they're just as bad as everybody in the media. I don't know which is worse, a journalist or a politician.
Should Paul Ryan resign, Governor LePage?
In my book, Paul Ryan has lost all respect for me. He's got to make his own mind up. But I will tell you, John Boehner had enough character to say, I've lost control. It's time for me to leave. I'm asked to resign every day, and sometimes I give it a thought. But I won't resign. So my guess is he probably won't resign. He took the job reluctantly anyways, and he's growing into it. So hopefully, whoever becomes president, that he finds the strength to move forward.
How about Arnold Schwarzenegger? He said he's put on social media he can't vote for Donald Trump because he's such a bad guy. This is a guy who knocked up his maid, who was accused of sexually harassing and groping all the women on his own set. Yeah. Now he's sitting in judgment of Donald Trump and
probably the worst governor in my lifetime. He was a horrific, terrible governor. He's okay in action movies. But I want to tell you something. He was a terrible politician, a terrible governor, and he sure as hell can't stand in judgment of anybody.
And how about Bill? And let me just run down some of these people that have attacked Donald Trump. Paul Ryan, he's a guy who called Dennis Hastert, who's now in prison for molesting young boys. When he was a wrestling coach, basically laundering money to pay him off. He called him an honest and an ethical man. And now Paul Ryan sits in judgment of Donald J. Trump after calling Hastert an honorable and ethical man.
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed. Like I said, shame on him.
How about Bill Weld?
Hey,
there's another one, Bill Weld.
Come on, come on, Bill. He's fried his brain so many times he doesn't know what he's saying.
He said he was quoted in the New York Times. He had a New York Times reporter with him during the debate on Sunday night, and he said Donald Trump is sniffling again. He's either got a bad cold for a long time or he's sniffing something he shouldn't be sniffing. Bill Weld saying this, Governor. What does that make you think?
Well, I certainly can't pass because I have reached enough of time. But, 6 stones to break bones. A word that never hurts you. And I will say this about the two presidential candidates. Donald Trump, okay. My grandmother was around. She'd give him a bar soap to clean his mouth out. She did it to me all the time. It's not a problem. But I will say this. When Hillary opens her mouth, people die.
Hey, Governor LePage, we really appreciate you being with us. Hang on and talk to Grace. I want to know where to send your World Series tickets. Don't say I never did anything for you here. They're going out. They're going out tomorrow.
Howie, I think we know where the Blaine house is. Come on.
Well, I want the address. I need the zip code. I know where it is. It's across the street from the State House. Thanks, Governor LePage.
Okay.
Thanks for being with us. I appreciate it. I'm Howie Carr.
That's right, Howie Carr.